Hello YouTube. So I just wanted to take a quick second. I'm so upset right now. I just went to go edit the video for this meal and realized that I lost the entire footage of me making the shrimp fried rice. So I just want to take a quick second to explain what I have here on the counter. Yes, I do have my ingredients for the cornbread that you'll see in a minute, but I also have a pound of frozen shrimp cleaned and deveined in the larger stainless steel bowl. I have a few cups of jasmine rice that had been cooked the day before and refrigerated. And in the red strainer on the stove, I've got dehydrated vegetables that I rehydrated and strained off for homemade shrimp fried rice. And in those vegetables, I have minced garlic, peas and carrots, scallions, and chopped red onion. I normally add yellow onion for homemade shrimp fried rice, but I had a craving for a red onion, so I threw that in there. But again, it's up to you. This isn't authentic shrimp fried rice by any means, but where I am in New York City, a quart of shrimp fried rice is $9. That's not even enough to feed. One quart is not enough to feed my family at a meal. So anyway, being that I lost the footage really quick, I just want to explain. I sauteed the shrimp after I seasoned it with a little bit of salt and pepper in canola oil and a little dash of sesame oil. And then once I sauteed the shrimp until it was pink, I sauteed the vegetables in the sesame oil and added in the rice and some soy sauce and some oyster sauce, and then stir fried the shrimp back in there. And literally everything took less than 10 minutes from rehydrating the vegetables and stir frying that up. So that was one portion of the meal. And here I made 3 different types of rice. My daughter doesn't eat shrimp or fish, so she has the option of either plain white rice or the beans and rice that I'll make later on in the video. And my son, my middle one, doesn't like beans, so he's got the option of the shrimp fried rice or the plain white rice. And this is jasmine rice. It's the only kind of rice we like. I do buy that in bulk and store it in 60-pound Vittles containers. But everything from this meal was made from food storage. Nothing came from a jar, a can, a box, no preservatives, no additives, no mystery ingredients. You're not having to worry about the way your shrimp was handled, if it was properly cleaned, if it was fresh. This way you're not having to worry about getting sick off of somebody mishandling your food, which happens a lot when ordering fast food. So I'm not gonna, narrow that down to just Chinese food. I'm sure everybody out there has had a bout of food poisoning at one point or another dealing with fast food. But anyway, I just wanted to make this quick statement to apologize for losing that footage. Anyway, on to making the cornbread, and I've got the whole frozen chicken that I cooked in the Instant Pot. It was a 5.5-pound chicken. I cooked that for 60 minutes. And I added lemon pepper seasoning my homemade dehydrated lemon slices, homemade garlic, dehydrated garlic, and homemade red onion. And I used a half pint of homemade chicken stock instead of adding water to the Instant Pot, because to run the Instant Pot, for it to pressurize, you need at least 1 cup of liquid in there, whether it be water, chicken stock, beef stock, whatever. So yeah, this meal all together, we have the whole lemon pepper chicken, the white rice, the beans and rice, the shrimp fried rice, and some cornbread. And if you choose to add another vegetable in, I do have vegetables canned up and vegetables dehydrated and vegetables in the freezer. But anyway, on with the video. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Hello YouTube. So tonight I'm making a quick dinner from food storage. I'm going to start out with some homemade cornbread. Basically my recipe is 1 1/4 cups of flour, 3/4 cups of cornmeal, 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon salt, mix your dry ingredients, and then 1 cup of milk, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. I use canola, and 1 whole egg beaten. Now, to save on dishes, I mix my dry ingredients in 1 bowl and all of my wet ingredients in another. And I'm going to bake this in my cast iron pan. It just gives the cornbread a better texture. And with this, being that it's a food storage meal, I'm using my Gosner milk. I got this from Dollar Tree. It doesn't have to be refrigerated. So if you're like me and your kids constantly run through milk and you need milk for a recipe and you're out, if you have this put back in your pantry, then it's excellent to add to baked goods. So I've got my cup of milk, 1/4 cup of canola oil, and 1 beaten egg. Pour my dry ingredients in. Throw in my wet ingredients. And you don't want to over mix this. So you just want to mix until everything comes together, until the ingredients are wet. Like, you still want the lumps in there. It's the same way I do my homemade waffle and pancakes. When I mix it up, I leave the lumps, and you just come out with a better texture. Okay, so I've got my cast iron skillet already greased, and I'm just going to pour this in. just like to tap it on the counter once or twice to make sure it's even, just like you would a cake. And that's going to go in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And I store my cornmeal in half-gallon mason jars. That way, if any grain mites hatch out or anything anywhere, it's not getting into my cornmeal. But also keeping it in a mason jar just keeps it fresh longer. And of course, I label all of my jars. Okay, so my cornbread's done. Nice and golden brown. Now this is my pints of pinto beans sealed with a Tadler lid. I'm going to keep the juice in that. And when opening these Tadler lids, it's best to use the little Tadler opener so that you don't ruin the rubber seals. And you want to get that in between the rubber gasket and the plastic part of the Tadler lid. Make sure you don't pinch the rubber gasket with the can opener. And I'm not going to dump the juice, I'm going to use that. And you want to make sure you don't use one of these, even the round end on your Tadler lids, because you can chip the plastic or chip the rubber ring. And once I've canned with these ball lids, I never use them again for canning. And you hear that vacuum seal release. Now with these, oh, burn my finger on the rice. I am going to strain those. And these home canned beans, this is the beauty of home canning. You get to control how much sodium your family is eating. And with these half pints, it's your choice whether you add salt or not. These black beans, I did add a half a teaspoon of canning salt, I never use any other kind of salt except canning salt. I know some people use pink Himalayan or kosher, but I just stick to canning salt. So I've strained those off. So I've got my pintos and my black beans in there. And I'm going to use a packet of this. And I'm just going to heat that up. My daughter doesn't eat shrimp or fish. She loves steamed Maryland blue crabs, but she despises shrimp. So this is why I'm making a separate dish of beans and rice separate from the shrimp fried rice for her. Some people just don't like seafood, and I respect that, or they have an allergy, so it's good to have options. Plus, this way I cook for 2 days at a time, so this way if somebody doesn't want to have shrimp fried rice tonight, then they can have beans and rice, or vice versa. So that way over the next couple of days they have several options, so you're not getting bored eating leftovers. Again, this is from food storage. I buy my Jasmine rice in 25-pound bags, and I keep the rice in my my 60-pound Vittles Vault containers. They are airtight, so I can keep that for years and years. I do freeze my rice for 48 hours just in case there's any grain mites in there. I don't have to worry about anything hatching out. And you can also save some plain rice. because I've got one that doesn't like beans. Yes, I've got some picky kids. We weren't allowed to choose what we could and couldn't eat unless it was an allergy coming up. You know, for those that meal prep and meal plan, those that do this for fitness reasons, this is an excellent way to get that extra protein in. You have a few different options for rice. 3 different options for rice. You've got your cornbread, that way everything's already made. Dehydrated vegetables, if you want to throw that in there. And I'm just going to plate this up with some chicken and I'll be right back. Just a quick shot of the crumb on the cornbread. Nice and golden brown. Okay, so I want to take a moment to mention when you cook a whole chicken or meat period in the Instant Pot, you want to make sure that you use natural pressure release, because if you use quick release, it's going to suck the moisture out of your meat and your meat is going to be dry. So I've let my chicken come to a natural pressure release. The button is down. I open my vent just to make sure. This is still going to be hot, so you want to make sure you open your lid away from you. And so you can see, there's my chicken with my lemon on top. And at this point, it's literally falling off the bone. And just for a quick taste. Oh man, that's perfect. And once we've eaten all of this chicken, I'll just pop the carcass in the freezer so that way I can make chicken bone broth. And you can see literally the chicken is falling off the bone. Cornbread, lemon pepper chicken, and beans and rice. We've got white rice and shrimp fried rice, all from food storage. And I just wanted to take a moment to mention I did add my dehydrated lemon in there and my home canned chicken stock from 2014. That's another jar. So nothing in this meal except the soy sauce came out of a can, a box, a jar from the grocery store. Everything was homemade, home canned, dehydrated at home in my Excalibur Foods dehydrator. Yeah, and if you either have your own chickens and your own eggs, you can freeze your extra eggs once you scramble them in like serving size portions, so that way you always have egg on hand. But yeah, everything is ready to go. Thank you. Have a good night. Oh, and by the way, this was a 5.5 pound chicken. I put in the Instant Pot for 60 minutes for this chicken. Anyway, have a good night. Bye.